my name's Andrew from Camera House Erina, and these will be my top tips for sport photography. When it comes to shooting sport, I find that most of them happen at speed, and so you need to use a fast shutter speed. Shutter speed means that you can capture the moment in time you particularly want. The faster the shutter speed, the faster the action can be. But equally, you may also want to have a sense of movement, which means you may want to slow that shutter speed slightly and pan more with the subject. It all comes down to the effect you want in your image. In this case, I knew this surfer, been following his work for a while and had a fair idea of what he does and how he does it. I panned with this particular surfer until the moment he made his turn, at which point in time I snapped off a couple of shots. But the important thing is learning how to pan and anticipate what they're going to do. It also helps if you use a continuous focus, because things are happening at speed and you need the camera to keep up. Having your camera in continuous focus mode means that you can track your subject quite easily. In this case, I'd focused on the surfer himself with group focus in the camera. Your camera has several settings: spot, where you're picking one particular spot, or group, in this case group. And the reason for that is the group locks onto the surfer and allows me to pan with him, waiting for him to make his turn so that I could capture this particular shot. Coupled with that is your image stabilisation. Most good brand lenses nowadays have what's called image stabilisation built in, and turning that on will help you achieve the shot more effectively by removing your handshake from the image. In this particular shot, I had in lens stabilisation, which was turned on. A 300mm lens is hard to hold steady, and having that image stabilisation allowed me to get the shot nice and crisp. Some cameras have in-body stabilisation, like the mirrorless range. Some lenses from Canon, Nikon will have image stabilisation built into the lens. Another way of stabilising your images is to use an external source, like a tripod or a monopod. Depending on what you're shooting, depends on which one you should choose. In the terms of the surfing, the movement was such erratic that handheld was better in using the in-lens stabilisation. When it comes to your lens choice, for sport particularly, you want a long lens. What I mean is a longer focal length, 200, 300, 400mm. But with those lenses, equally, you need to make sure that your aperture is quite reasonable. A larger aperture, which lets in more light, allows for a more effective shot, but it also adds weight, which is where the image stabilisation will help you as well. The faster the aperture, the better your depth of field, the better isolation you have of your subject from whatever happens to be around, but it does allow you to capture that image far more effectively. Another good tip for any form of photography is don't be afraid of your ISO. ISO is the camera's ability to record light. The higher the ISO number, the more sensitive the camera is to lower levels of light, allowing you to capture the shot. But the fear has always been that your images would be too noisy, they'd be too grainy, looking soft and out of focus. But with modern cameras, ISO performance is much better than they've ever been in the past. Shooting with 3200 or even 6400 ISO is not a challenge to a modern camera.